What's up, children? Reverend here, and I think I got some bad news, and I don't know what can really be done about it, but I just I can see it happening. But you see things happening, and you can't stop it from happening. But well, anyways, let me digress, or whatever you want to call it. Well, anyways, I went to Texas to visit family members there. I flew from Portland to Texas, and I went to a big flea market they got in Texas, and it's cool. I mean, I enjoy flea markets and stuff. This is a real big one. Well, anyways, I saw all these mega hats, or Make America Great Again, or whatever, the Trump hats, and other Trump hats that I hadn't seen before. There was all kinds of Trump hats and t-shirts. There were flags with Trump on the cover of the flag with like a Rambo type rifle holding they had Trump on the flag holding the machine gun or whatever, and they're like they're worshiping Trump, and I was like, wow. And it was like crazy. I couldn't believe when I seen the flags with Trump on it and all these t-shirts and stuff. And I thought, Trump could, and this is a bad news, and this is for my lefty friends, Trump could actually win again. He could actually win 2020, yeah. And it really doesn't have much to do with Trump as it does with the Democrats. Because the Democrats are beating themselves, and because they're talking about like gun control and universal health thing and universal school, like Elizabeth Warren or whatever, she's talking about that kind of thing. And it sounds good in the left, but there's no like middle ground. People, for some reason in America, we don't want any kind of universal anything kind of thing, and especially gun control. Because I was thinking about that. When I grew up in the 70s, I was going to school. There were more guns. I was telling a guy this the other day. We had more guns in the 70s than they have now. And young kids I had guns, and I was born in Pennsylvania, so I always had guns because there was hunting all the time, so guns were like, everybody had guns. But it never occurred to me to go to school and shoot people. And it's so weird because we're fixated on gun control. So even if you make up a law against guns or try to confiscate guns or whatever you're going to do, the people who are going to shoot up the school, they still have that thought in their mind. They want to kill people at school. So the real problem isn't guns. It's why does this person want to hurt people at school? But see, they never answer that question. They only talk about the tool used for hurting people is a gun. So they're focusing on the gun and inventing some sort of law. Sort of like here in Portland, heroin is against the law. But we are waist deep in heroin, children. And heroin is highly illegal. So what makes everybody think if they put a law out against guns or, well, machine guns are already against the law, but assault rifles, you know, what makes people think criminals are going to get guns? And even with a law, if you want a gun, you can still get it. And if you're willing to go on a suicide mission, which is going shooting up a school or a mall or something, you know you're not coming out. So are you really going to care about something illegal? Because as soon as they make things illegal, this is America, children. And as soon as they make things illegal, the entrepreneurs come out and they figure, oh, wow, there's a gap here. I can make money. And they start providing weapons to the people that want weapons because they can't get weapons because they're illegal. So then this huge black market will pop up, just like the huge drug market. And, you know, they will provide, like, drugs are illegal. Oh, wow. That's an opportunity. So the providers of drugs make sure that these drug laws are ignored. So the winners in the drug war, my children, are the drug dealers and the addicts. Because they can make laws, they can, you know, print them up like M&Ms. But still, the people who want drugs are going to get them. Just like here in Portland. There's people all over the place on drugs. Meth. Meth is illegal. So children, the question that needs to be answered from the Democrats is not gun control. The question is, why are these people wanting to hurt people and shoot people? That is the question, not the gun. The gun is just a tool. You know, they had a terrorist attack in England, and it's impossible to get a gun in England. I don't know how you... not many people have guns. They're hard to get. So there was a terrorist attack in England, in London, I think it was. And this guy went in to a restaurant, I think, and just started stabbing people with a knife. So even though he didn't have a gun, he still had the intent of hurting people. So are you going to outlaw knives next? Or machetes? Or any of them other kind of dangerous weapons? Because somebody stabbed somebody with a knife? Sort of like back in the 70s, we used to get lawn darts. And lawn darts are really cool. Lawn darts, that's an awesome game. You had a little hoop you put on the ground, and you had these big darts. And they had a point on the end, and you threw it and tried to get it in the circle, and you score a point. Well, children, one kid got hurt or lost an eye with a lawn dart. Now, everybody from the 70s on cannot have a lawn dart, cannot do the lawn dart game. And that's like the extreme thinking right there, right? So every kid cannot experience the lawn darts. But like Walmart, the same store that used to sell illegal lawn darts, now at 21 years old, he can go in and buy a shotgun. You can buy a shotgun and a rifle, but you can't buy lawn darts. Now, how does that make any sense at all? Well, anyways, that's the question. And when you start talking about gun control, all you're doing is galvanizing the right, because the right, they love guns. They love their guns. They love and they know that any kind of legislation against guns is not going to end with that. It's sort of like smoking. You used to be, when I was a kid, they had ashtrays in doctors' offices. They had ashtrays on the cart at the supermarket when you pushed it. My mom could smoke, and there was a little ashtray right on the handle where she could put her cigarette on. So you could smoke while you were shopping in a grocery store, and you could smoke on a plane. You could smoke everywhere. And they said, well, look, like the restaurant, they said, well, we're going to have a smoking section. And that's just like gun control. We're going to have a smoking section, and we're going to have this. And we're not going to go any further. If you just comply to this. Okay, so they have a smoking section. So if you're smoking, you go to this section. And the smokers are over there. There's a big cloud over there. So they can smoke. And they said, well, our non-smokers are still a little disturbed over y'all's freedom to smoke. So we're going to have a patio area outside where you can smoke. And that went on a couple of years, and they said, well, that's a little annoying. So we're going to take away outside now. So if you want to smoke, you got to be at least 20 to 40 feet away from the building. So that's sort of how the people on the right think about gun control. You start off with a 3-day wait before you can get a gun, and then pretty soon it's a 30-day wait and 3 inches of paperwork you got to fill out. So and so we're fighting against ourselves. There's other issues that we need to bring up, like Trump's crazy and other things, and all kind. There's other topics that we could be bringing up without galvanizing and empowering the right. Because when you start talking gun control, you're inviting you're inviting the hillbillies, or like coming out of the woods to vote, and these people will vote, and we're just hurting ourselves, children. So that's all I really wanted to say. I think we need something. We need one person to get behind, and I don't know if Warren is the person, or Biden. I don't know. Biden seems like the old guard, He seems like he's kind of stable, but I don't know, children. I don't know if anyone can really beat Trump. We've turned a corner with Trump, and he's like any other person. Any other person would have totally lost their political career, the stuff he's done. But he's like Teflon. There's nothing that sticks to him, and none of his followers or people that like him want to hear it. So he's going to be real tough, especially when we're beating ourselves by talking about gun control and all kinds of stuff that we probably shouldn't even be bringing up, because it sounds good on the left, but the right take it as a nightmare, and it galvanizes them. So, children, we're in a pickle. Matter of fact, I actually hope I'm wrong, but after, the last election when he won, and they're not going to be able to vote, the Senate is not going to turn on Trump. There's not going to be, it's not going to work in the Senate. The Republicans run the Senate. It's not going to happen. So, children, let's bring up issues that need to be brought up and leave some of these kind of crazy ones alone, and we might have a chance, and focus on one person and stop all this protest voting that happened last time and all this other stuff. All right, children. Reverend Dirt, I'm out.